Is your fretboard knowledge matching your technical abilities and playing skills? Or maybe it's the other way around. Are your playing skills up to par with your fretboard knowledge? Well, today I'm going to share with you 3 concepts that can easily transition your playing and fretboard knowledge if you simply apply them. Most guitarists do not apply these concepts, and as a result, sometimes they miss out on some growth opportunities. I'm Alan Robinson, and I'm a guitar professor and a professional guitarist. I'm going to help you unlock your fretboard knowledge faster than you ever thought on today's episode of The Guitar Doctor Is In. So I want you to think back about when you first became interested in playing guitar. You may have gone out at that point, bought a guitar, bought an amp, maybe some pedals, brought it back home, got real excited about starting, and then found out, wow, this is really difficult. Well, I've been there and done that. As a matter of fact, I remember being so excited about being a guitarist that I decided that was going to be my career. And I decided to go to music school to study. I mean, after all, going to the right school could make a big difference. I mean, I thought about all of my heroes that inspired me. They went there. This is going to be great. And then I got there and I found out this is really hard. And it wasn't that I didn't have the abilities. I had some playing skills. I had some fretboard knowledge. But I was really fighting it the whole time. I just felt like the answers weren't coming quick enough. I just really wanted the truth. And then one day, one of my professors said something to me that was so profound, it changed everything.
You can't handle the truth!
Well, not that. That's a little dramatic. But I like that guy. What he said was, play you. And what he meant by that was, you gotta be yourself. Play who you are, play what you know, but don't overthink the process. I was reinventing the wheel all the time. So what I hope you take away from this concept reveal is that you need to play you so that you can learn better, because you've already got skills, both at fretboard knowledge and playing abilities, that you probably are not tapping into the right way to progress as quickly as you want. And what we're going to do is that we're going to dissect this solo, and I'm going to share with you the way I think about the fretboard in order for you to see that I use not such large items or large musical concepts to develop a solo. If you want more information in detail about the topics that I'm going to discuss in this video, you can always check out one of my earlier episodes dealing with modal fragments, triads, pentatonics, because they go into a little bit of a deeper dive. Today, though, I'm going to show you how I think about the neck while I'm approaching improvising or writing a solo. So let's go ahead and check out the solo, and then we'll do our deep dive. The first opening lick was really coming out of this modal fragment up here at the 7th fret, which I might call a Locrian pattern because it's coming off of F sharp, and I'm really in the key of G major, or really a Dorian, but I think relative to the key of G major. And all I do is I open up with this bend from D to get up to the 5th of A minor, which is E. That kind of idea right there. And then, because I can see this modal fragment, and if you watch that episode, you should recognize that I think about these whole steps in order to find my chromaticism. And then I just walk down the scale. And I cross over into another modal pattern. So I'm seeing how these two modal patterns of this Lydian, it overlaps with the Locrian. Try that again. Okay, so that's how I see the first part. It's those two modal fragments just kind of layered over each other. And then I have some chromatic passing tones that I can put in between the whole steps. The next part of that lick for A minor are these double stops that are really built out of pentatonics. So I see this A minor pentatonic, and then I walk it down, again with another whole step chromatic kind of thing. But this time, I'm going to see B minor pentatonic. And the reason I do that, this is another one of the hacks that I like to use, which is if I've got my Dorian chord, in order to really bring out the Dorian sound, I play up a whole step from the root, in this case B minor, play pentatonic, and that gives me the 13th, which is very Dorian specific. So when I do that, like, I got that F sharp on the top, and it just kind of reminds me that this is Dorian. Then I move down for one last double stop back down to A minor pentatonic. And then again, this fragment is the Locrian fragment, same one I had up here, but now down an octave. So really the way I mapped this was to come from this pattern and get down to this pattern, transitioning through those pentatonic double stops. And so when I get down here, I really repeat what I did here to an extent, because I do the same kind of lick. But now I'm getting ready for a chord change because I'm headed to C minor. And so what I do is I do this chromatic walk down, but I repurpose that lick. I just cycle it as I move it down chromatically, which gives a nice outside sound until I land in the C minor tonality. And that lands me on a G, which is the 5th of the C minor. And now the next lick is all based in C minor, but I'm basing it off of two 7th chord arpeggios, which is really G minor 7 and C minor 7. And I just happen to put in a couple of scale and passing notes. So when I get down, at the same time I'm doing this rhythm and I'm moving down from the tonality of A minor down to C minor, because the way the notes fall, I rhythmically displaced where some of these notes are falling. And that creates this really cool effect of not feeling so strict on the downbeat. And so when I get the next lick, which is based on diatonic 4th arpeggios, descending or cascading down the fretboard, which I've got C minor, G minor, D minor. So those are the three chords that are involved in B flat major, because this is a C Dorian chord. But that B flat that I'm playing here is a 16th note pickup. And that makes everything else kind of feel a little off-centered until I get down to the C, which is now acting like a pickup note into the note E flat. I'm still on that C minor. And I'm going to simply, for the next lick, focus on the chord tones for the basic triad for C minor, which is C, E flat, and G. So the root, the flat third, and the 5th. And I'm really looking at these arpeggios. So it's, C minor 7, E flat major 7, and G minor 7. Those are all diatonic to the key, but I like to do a little trick in there to where I skip strings in between. And not only am I skipping the strings in between, I don't even complete the first one all the way back down. I slide up to the middle of the E flat major 7 so I can kind of flip the beat again. Come all the way down that one, slide up to G minor, and complete that, and I come down halfway on that one, and then I jump up to the C and bend it up to D, which is the 9th degree of the C. And then the final lick in the C minor section is really something kind of silly I just snuck in there just for fun, was what we hear in jazz world all the time as the lick. Only I just don't put the B flat in. And I'll do that little a la Greg Howe kind of trill on the D, shaking it between a few frets, just coming back to the center of that. And that finishes out the section over the C minor. So then the next chord after that is E flat minor. And so then I do this little lick going down. Which maybe you just recognize that I'm back to Yngwie and Bach, because now I've got a pedal point. I just decided to mess with the rhythm. And then the final lick or idea that goes over top of this section is, first of all, moving up a perfect fifth from the root of my chord. I do this a lot with pentatonic scales and or minor seventh arpeggios. So if I got E flat minor 7, I'm going to go to B flat minor 7, and I do this B flat minor 7 arpeggio with a chromatic approach to the third. But this whole thing is based off of this modal fragment, which is an Aeolian fragment from the key of D flat major. And the reason I want to explain that is because, again, when I come back down to this, I see my little chromatic passing tone for my whole step. And then I do something kind of neat here. I actually throw in an enclosure. I'm enclosing D flat, which is the flat 7 of the E flat minor. And then the last thing I see is this perfect fifth from F to B flat. That kind of idea. And then the very final part of it is using B flat minor pentatonic with a flurry of chromaticism in between it, until I get to the note E, which is the flat 7 of my next chord, F sharp minor 7. Just that kind of movement, which I'm sure most of you have done. I land on the E, and this F sharp is the 2 chord in E flat major, so I actually do an E flat major 7 with a 9. The F sharp being the 9, the root of that chord. So it gives me these really cool colors over the top of that. And then, now I've got some more overlapping modal fragments. I've got this A Lydian. I'll get it out in a minute. And on top of that, then I've got this Phrygian right below it. And the reason that's important is because when I come down, and so I complete that whole step. And then I see these 2 major thirds that are involved. To finish it off. And then that very final segment right there, that's really seeing an E major pentatonic, or C sharp minor pentatonic, because it's relative major minor. Then to finish off the section over top of the F sharp, what I do is I go to C sharp minor, and I'm going to see C sharp minor leading into a B major. And I liked it so much I did it twice. Came back down, but skipped over, landed on this E to set me up in this position to where now I can go back to a la Yngwie sweep picking. And all I did was diatonic arpeggios in the key of E, starting from the 4 chord, B major, C sharp minor. And I like doing those so much, I just thought when the key changed back to A minor, that I would just keep it up. So after I did the C sharp minor, I just turned it into C major, which is the 4 chord in the key of G. Went up to the 5 chord, back down, walked it down, B minor, A minor, G major, and then I just went back into some more of the modal fragments and crossing them with the chromaticism. Wow, we unpacked a lot today. So I hope you got something out of it that you find beneficial to help you progress your fretboard knowledge and playing abilities. It takes some time, so you got to be patient with yourself. Again, let's just reiterate these 3 concepts. Number 1, play you. Number 2, make sure that you're using small building blocks to build your playing and your knowledge. You don't have to play all the notes all the time. Number 3, break it down into isolation exercises where you isolate 1 string or 2 strings or a small portion of the fretboard. You don't have to tackle it all at once. If you tackle a small part and you understand and then you multiply it because of the natural symmetry, you'll grow faster. I hope you'll like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get more information. Also, go ahead and hit the little bell icon. That way you'll receive notification anytime I put out a new video. Thanks a lot. So until next time, now go practice.